Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, is known for his wisdom and eloquence. While he is often quoted on matters of leadership and governance, his words also offer valuable insights into finding happiness in life. Folks are usually about as happy as they make their minds up to be. Most people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. Happiness is a choice, not a result. Nothing will make you happy until you choose to be happy. You can complain because roses have thorns, or you can rejoice because thorns have roses. The best way to predict your future is to create it. People are just as happy as they make up their minds to be. Happiness is not in the mere possession of money. It lies in the joy of achievement, in the thrill of creative effort. Most folks are as happy as they make up their minds to be. It's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. We can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or rejoice because thorns have roses. Happiness is the goal and life is the journey. The best thing about the future is that it comes one day at a time. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. The best way to destroy your enemies is to make them your friends. Those who look for the bad in people will surely find it. Most people are as happy as they decide to be. Whatever you are, be a good one. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? Happiness is not by chance, but by choice. I'm a success today because I had a friend who believed in me and I didn't have the heart to let him down. The time comes upon every public man when it is best for him to keep his lips closed. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. It is better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open one's mouth and remove all doubt. Character is like a tree and reputation like its shadow. The shadow is what we think of it. The tree is the real thing. When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That's my religion. You can have anything you want if you want it badly enough. You can be anything you want to be. Do anything you set out to accomplish if you hold to that desire with singleness of purpose. I'm a success today because I had a friend who believed in me, and I didn't have the heart to let him down. I do the very best I know how, the very best I can, and I mean to keep on doing so until the end. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to what light I have. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure. I am a firm believer in the people. If given the truth, they can be depended upon to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts. It is difficult to make a man miserable while he feels worthy of himself and claims kindred to the great God who made him. You cannot build character and courage by taking away people's initiative and independence. I am a slow walker, but I never walk back. I don't know who my grandfather was. I am much more concerned to know what his grandson will be. The probability that we may fail in the struggle ought not to deter us from the support of a cause we believe to be just. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to what light I have. No man is good enough to govern another man without that other's consent. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. I am in favor of animal rights as well as human rights. That is the way of a whole human being. My concern is not whether God is on our side. My greatest concern is to be on God's side, for God is always right. Those who look for the bad in people will surely find it. I do not think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday. Human action can be modified to some extent, but human nature cannot be changed. There is a judgment and a feeling against slavery in this nation, which cast at least 1.5 million of votes. You cannot destroy that judgment and feeling, that sentiment, by breaking up the political organization which rallies around it. I desire so to conduct the affairs of this administration that if at the end, when I come to lay down the reins of power, I have lost every other friend on earth, I shall at least have one friend left, and that friend shall be down inside of me.
I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to what light I have. Towering genius disdains a beaten path. It seeks regions hitherto unexplored. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves, and under the rule of a just God, cannot long retain it. America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. My best friend is a person who will give me a book I have not read. My concern is not whether God is on our side. My greatest concern is to be on God's side, for God is always right. I'm a success today because I had a friend who believed in me and I didn't have the heart to let him down. Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him personally. There are no bad pictures, that's just how your face looks sometimes. I can see how it might be possible for a man to look down upon the earth and be an atheist, but I cannot conceive how a man could look up into the heavens and say there is no God. When you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to what light I have. You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. Be sure you put your feet in the right place, then stand firm. I would rather be a little nobody than to be a evil somebody. I have been driven many times upon my knees by the overwhelming conviction that I had nowhere else to go. My own wisdom and that of all about me seemed insufficient for that day. If I were two-faced, would I be wearing this one? All that I am or ever hope to be, I owe to my angel mother. Character is like a tree and reputation its shadow. The shadow is what we think it is and the tree is the real thing. We are not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. The mystic chords of memory will swell when again touched, as surely they will be, by the better angels of our nature. I laugh because I must not cry, that is all, that is all. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. Tact, the ability to describe others as they see themselves. Elections belong to the people. It's their decision. If they decide to turn their back on the fire and burn their behinds, then they will just have to sit on their blisters. I have always found that mercy bears richer fruits than strict justice. My father taught me to work, but not to love it. I never did like to work, and I don't deny it. I'd rather read, tell stories, crack jokes, talk, laugh anything but work. If you once forfeit the confidence of your fellow citizens, you can never regain their respect and esteem. It is true that you may fool all of the people some of the time, you can even fool some of the people all of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. All I have learned, I learned from books. I am in favor of animal rights as well as human rights. That is the way of a whole human being. I do not think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday. In this sad world of ours, sorrow comes to all, and, to the young, it comes with bitterest agony, because it takes them unawares. The older have learned to ever expect it. I am anxious to afford some alleviation of your present distress. Perfect relief is not possible, except with time. You cannot now realize that you will ever feel better. Is not this so? And yet it is a mistake. You are sure to be happy again. I have had experience enough to know what I say, and you need only to believe it, to feel better at once. The Lord prefers common-looking people. That is why He made so many of them. It has been my experience that folks who have no vices have very few virtues. You have to do your own growing no matter how tall your grandfather was. You cannot help people permanently by doing for them what they could and should do for themselves. If this is coffee, please bring me some tea, but if this is tea, please bring me some coffee. I am a firm believer in the people. If given the truth, they can be depended upon to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts, and beer. It is difficult to make a man miserable while he feels worthy of himself and claims kindred to the great God who made him. A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure, permanently half slave and half free. I do not expect the union to be dissolved, I do not expect the house to fall, but I do expect it will cease to be divided. I am not concerned that you have fallen, I am concerned that you arise. To ease another's heartache is to forget one's own. The better part of one's life consists of his friendships. The probability that we may fail in the struggle ought not to deter us from the support of a cause we believe to be just. I don't know who my grandfather was, I am much more concerned to know what his grandson will be. Achievement has no color. When I get ready to talk to people, I spend 2/3 of the time thinking what they want to hear and 1/3 thinking about what I want to say. Be with a leader when he is right, stay with him when he is still right, but leave him when he is wrong. 77 years ago our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. I do the very best I know how, the very best I can, and I mean to keep on doing so until the end. No matter how much the cats fight, there always seem to be plenty of kittens. We should be too big to take offense and too noble to give it. If there is anything that links the human to the divine, it is the courage to stand by a principle when everybody else rejects it. I have come to the conclusion never again to think of marrying, and for this reason, I can never be satisfied with anyone who would be blockhead enough to have me. The ballot is stronger than the bullet. You can have anything you want if you want it badly enough. You can be anything you want to be, do anything you set out to accomplish if you hold to that desire with singleness of purpose. The greatest fine art of the future will be the making of a comfortable living from a small piece of land. As I would not be a slave, so I would not be a master. This expresses my idea of democracy. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves, and, under a just God, cannot retain it. Take all that you can of this book upon reason, and the balance on faith, and you will live and die a happier man. Let no feeling of discouragement prey upon you, and in the end you are sure to succeed. No man stands so tall as when he stoops to help a child. I am nothing, truth is everything. I do the very best I can, I mean to keep going. If the end brings me out all right, then what is said against me won't matter. If I'm wrong, 10 angels swearing I was right won't make a difference. Never do anything for anyone who can just as well do it themselves. Gentlemen, why do you not laugh? With the fearful strain that is upon me day and night, if I did not laugh, I should die. The problem with internet quotes is that you cannot always depend on their accuracy. I am rather inclined to silence, and whether that be wise or not, it is at least more unusual nowadays to find a man who can hold his tongue than to find one who cannot. In this age, in this country, public sentiment is everything. With it, nothing can fail, against it, nothing can succeed. With educated people, I suppose, punctuation is a matter of rule, with me it is a matter of feeling. But I must say I have a great respect for the semicolon, it's a useful little chap. If you think you can, you can, if you think you can't, you're right. Well, I wish some of you would tell me the brand of whiskey that Grant drinks. I would like to send a barrel of it to my other generals. I am a success today because I had a friend who believed in me and I didn't have the heart to let him down. I believe that people should fight for what they believe and only what they believe. I will study and prepare myself, and someday my chance will come. I know not how to aid you, save in the assurance of one of mature age, and much severe experience, that you cannot fail, if you resolutely determine that you will not. The loss of enemies does not compensate for the loss of friends. Investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Everybody likes compliment. The things I want to know are in books, my best friend is the man who'll get me a book I ain't read. If you are going to fight, don't let them talk you into negotiating. But, if you are going to negotiate, don't let them talk you into fighting. And having thus chosen our course, without guile and with pure purpose, let us renew our trust in God, and go forward without fear, and with manly hearts.